I can do this. The doctor had just handed me a diagnosis of type 1 diabetes at the age of 24, but my husband Darren and I were confident we could handle it. Confident enough that a few months later, our family moved to a new city, started up a small business, and got the kids enrolled in a new school. In the busyness of life, over the next year, I barely noticed the decline in my health. At first, we were having trouble regulating my sugars. Then my weight began dropping, and I had no energy. There were hospital visits and infections, and although we were regularly visiting our new family doctor, we knew something wasn't right. One morning, when getting out of bed, it was too painful to stand. I crawled around on the floor for 3 weeks. I didn't understand what was going on, and we felt like the doctors had given up on me. Carrying me into the hospital, Darren pleaded with the emergency room doctor to figure out what was going on. We left that ER with no hope. My family desperately called an endocrinologist in Calgary. Get her up to me, and in 6 months, I'll have her back on her feet. I was Calgary bound the very next day. In the coming days, I would go to many specialists seeking answers. We finally determined that H. pylori bacteria was the culprit. I now had to adjust to my new normal, life in a wheelchair. At a neurology appointment, my specialist said my chances of walking again would be slim. Challenge accepted. It wasn't easy, but after months of swimming and physio, I walked into his office. It wasn't pretty, and it didn't last for long, but I was doing it. He was so overwhelmed when he saw me walking. I just told him that a lot of people had been praying for me. My dad had a young GP who thankfully agreed to take on my care. Reporting back to my specialist and seeking out his recommendations showed me that he was listening to us. He would ask, "Does that make sense?" which reassured me that he wanted us to understand my care. My doctor regularly asked if Darren or my folks needed help back home with the kids. His concern was always for the family as a unit. There continued to be new hurdles and victories, losing my sight to retinopathy, renal failure, a kidney transplant, and most recently, a pancreas transplant. For 18 years now, I have had the very same team. My GP is always on top of the information and test results and works closely with my new specialists and my family. After each challenge, I feel my team have just gotten bigger and stronger. After losing my sight, I finally wrote and illustrated my first children's book. Who do you think shares it with the new interns or with their families at home? My doctor and my healthcare team.